What is up, everybody? It's your boy CrazyMaze98, aka Nicholas Morales, founder of the EHG community. Here is another EHG interview with one of my favorites, and I'm actually very happy I could be able to be on this interview with this man. This man, if you see him, he was wrestling in things such as ACCW and NAWA, one of the greatest wrestlers that I know to date. Alright, the infamous man who was part of the Three Brothers, who had major and amazing matches with people such as Dre Hood, Papa Giorgio, and the amazing Fatal 4-Way with Aaron Jones, Papa Giorgio, and Cameron Shaw. The infamous Cameron Jackson, aka #1. There you go. I try to do it as good as I can for you, man. I try to do it as great as I can for you.
Well, what's up, man? What's happening? You came close. You came close.
All right. Well, you know, I can't do it better than the original. Everything's good. Thank you very much for having this interview with me. I appreciate you very much. You know, like let's do it like before anything. By all means, go to his YouTube channel. It is called Cameron Jackson Entertainment. Make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel and also follow him on Instagram at CJE_number1. It's going to be right here in the video, so you can go ahead and make sure you have those follows. And make sure when you talk about ACCW or NAWA or anything of #1, make sure to put that hashtag for, excuse me, the hashtag for CJE exclusives or hashtag Three Brothers. You know, make sure to show your support to the Three Brothers and also my guy #1 here. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. So, we could do like a little history here. Me and you actually went to school together.
Of course, man.
Yeah, Bayshore High School graduates. You know, I remember like when you first came by. I think you were from New Jersey. Am I correct?
That would be absolutely correct. Born in Jersey, and I came to Long Island, Bayshore, around 8th grade, and finished high school out there.
Yeah. I remember you first came. It was the middle school, and then it was in high school. We were there for 4 years. You know, you were like part of like things like I remember you were on the football team at one point.
Oh yes.
There was that. And you were, besides like, you know, then at times you were very quiet unless you were like with like, you know, people like my guy Efren, you know, like, and you guys shared a major thing, which was like a love for like watching like WWE and like favorite wrestlers.
Oh yes, most definitely, man. I was quiet when it came down to respecting teachers and stuff, but then like when I would get around my friends, whether it be football friends or friends that love wrestling, then I was probably the loudest person in the room.
That's cool to hear. Like, you know, that was me at times too. Like I was quiet around people and I was just loud around my friends. But you know, let's get to the main things. Like, I have to know, why wrestling? Like, why did you choose to become a wrestler and then choose to join in the indie scene? Like, what was the thing that inspired you to become a wrestler?
Well, it was a number of things. I mean, I've watched it all my life. I grew up watching it. I mean, ever since we were not as financially stable as a family living in Long Branch, New Jersey. I mean, that was the only thing that would kind of excite my nights at that point. It was Monday and Thursday nights because Raw and SmackDown at the time. And then eventually, as I started to get older, we had a group of friends that would do backyard wrestling, which, you know, it's either hit or miss, but it's always fun. You create good memories and have a fun time. And then once that started to fizzle out and I started to get a little too old to be bouncing around on somebody's trampoline at whatever age, I said, I got a couple of decisions. I can kind of see where this goes, or I can just close it away. And I'm the type of person that if I give up on something, I'll be really mad at myself. So I think I owed it to myself to see how far this went. But Inspiration wise, I mean, growing up as a kid, man, my favorite was The Rock. I loved I loved that, and being able to have my own spin-off in the profession that he kind of first claimed, which is just awesome to me. I mean, you only live once, and it's cool to live a dream while you're living.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Like when I honestly see number one, I see that you have that major energy, like especially with the crowd. You interact with not just the people there, but the kids there. You have like that energy, like The Rock. That's what I like about you, especially the number one character. That you pulled out. And what's cool about it is just that you talk about like The Rock, but have you like met any like cool wrestlers like from like WWE or like anything from ECW, like legends or WCW legends, anything like any type of people that you've met like at like meetups or anything that they come to the events?
Oh yeah, man, tons. Um, there was actually last November there was an event named WrestleCade that happened in Winston Salem, North Carolina, and there were tons of wrestlers there. It's one of those big conventions. It's like a wrestling Comic Con almost. I mean, and I was there hanging out with the Sandman from ECW. Um, Needless to say, we were drinking beer.
Sounds
um,
like
uh,
Sandman.
there was tons of legends there. Stars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. There. Rest in peace, Chad Gaspard was hanging out with Crime Time there. Um, we were all over the place, hanging out with tons of legends. Scott Steiner, George South, uh, old fella named Sam Houston, the Great Muda, ODB. If you've ever watched TNA, I
Mhm.
mean, I mean, tons and more, much more than that. Teddy Long, Rikishi. Um, I mean, list goes on and on. There was tons. I mean, I've met numerous as it goes on. I've met Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and hung out with them, and it's just been a pretty cool ride all along, all together.
That's pretty cool, and yeah, once again, rest in peace, Shad Gaspar. Like it's really sad to hear something tragic happen. God rest his soul.
Oh yeah, man.
Especially when he was in the ring, absolutely a powerhouse, amazing athlete. Him, JTG, and Crime Time in WWE, one of the greatest teams I've seen. So like amazingly to perform. So yeah, once again, rest in peace to Shad Gaspar. Sadly, I didn't get that opportunity to meet him, but you did. You met him in JTG, and it was pretty sad to hear about what happened to him.
Yeah, it was super sad. I mean, let me tell you how nice and just a people person Shad was. Like, he did not know us from a hole in the wall, but he treated us like we were equals on his level. He treated us like we were wrestling the same amount of time he was. He treated us like, you know, he treated us just as if he would like to be treated, and we were all cool. He was in there cracking jokes with us, telling stories, and he actually has a Three Brothers T-shirt, or had a Three Brothers T-shirt. Him and JTG both. And it was pretty cool to just sit there and talk with those guys and get to know them, and they gave us a lot of cool advice, and I'll never forget that. God rest his soul. Obviously, I wish he was still here, but uh, a real defining his character was telling officials to save his son instead of himself. I mean, he just shows how much of a real man he actually was. And you know, I don't know if he'll ever really get the recognition he fully deserved for being that way. But if I can help with it, I'll say I don't know too many more warriors and men on this planet than Shad Gaspard.
Yeah. When I heard about what happened with him, it was very sad. But like of how he said to like save his son, it showed how grave a man he was. And as I said, like I didn't have the privilege to meet. As I said, like rest his soul. I believe we'll meet him again, better place. Said like it's cool that WWE did that whole entire thing for him, especially actually putting him up for the Warriors.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool that they did something like that. So yeah, to rest in peace to Shad Gaspard. See you there. So
Most definitely.
definitely. When I think of number one, I think of a Kids Next Door reference. I because I was like number one. I was like it smelled like Kids Next Door. So I want to know what inspired you to make that character number one. Where did that energy come from? Where did the idea of number one come from in the mind of Cameron Jackson? Where did that pop up?
Well, as you brought up earlier, like I had a fatal four way with Sterling Papa Giorgio, Kevin Shaw, and Aaron Jones in ACCW, which is in Hidden Night, North Carolina. This was my first time wrestling down there. It's actually my first recorded match ever professionally. Um, and the crowd was feeding so much different energy. At one point, I'm walking around the ring. I don't even think the match had started yet. I'm walking around the ring. I'm in the ring and I'm talking smack to the crowd, whatever. And some guy in the back looks at me and goes, "Number one." And I look back at him. I say, "Numero uno." All right. So fast forward a month later, we have another show there. It's me one on one with the number one contender for the championship, Johnny Ryder, who's an amazing talent. Um, I'm making my entrance, and a guy standing on the same guy is in the crowd, and he goes number one, and I just threw it all out at him. I said number one, and it just stuck. They called it that. Like it started out as me just having something to shoot back and forth with the crowd with, and now it's practically the gimmick, if you will.
That's pretty cool. It's cool like where people can get the ideas, especially like some of the fans feed the ideas to some people, especially when it comes with the shtick. Like for instance, like I would think it would like apparently like the whole what thing came from I believe Christian for Stone Cold
Yeah.
Steve Austin. So it's pretty cool of how those things pop up. Like what I wanted to know is because like you became part of Three Brothers. How like where did that begin? Where did that start off? Instead of just going to the regular number one thing, you became a part of Three Brothers. So how
Um.
did that start off?
Well, 2018, I was just being me, number one, doing smaller shows, NAWA, ACCW, which I'm very grateful for those shows. Don't get me wrong. By no means do I disrespect them. But I was doing shows that weren't getting any traction.
Hmm.
Not for me, anyways. And then started going to Firestar a couple times, Firestar Pro Wrestling in Greensboro. And they showed a little bit more promise and a little bit more, what's the term? A little bit more interest in what I was doing.
Mhm.
So then I would go to South Carolina at a wrestler named Jamie Lee at his house, and we would train just to polish up some stuff and see where I'm at, and kind of learn new things and also help teach new things, because that's just the type of people we are. And two friends of mine, Drew Hood and I'm going to use a stage name. I don't want to use his real name, but Tommy Django.
Okay.
We were there, and then we got our South Carolina wrestling licenses. Yes, you need a license to professionally wrestle in South Carolina, which is still beyond me. And the company we were going to debut for when we finally got our license was Classic Pro Wrestling, which I'm now the heavyweight champion at. But
Nice.
we a guy named David Cody said that he wanted to put us together in a group. Now I think all three of us were on and off about the idea, because I'm a big talker. I'm an entertainer. Drew's a big talker. He's an entertainer, and Tommy's like a little heel. He likes to be um, loudmouth, and since he's so short, people draw eyes to him just because it's an obvious like marketing factor. Um, and they wanted us to be like a jobber group, which I wasn't really feeling that. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand you got to pay your dues, but don't call me a jobber before I even get the chance to perform for you.
Mhm.
So they said they wouldn't put us together, and they're paying us. We can't necessarily say no. We can always just pitch ideas. So their vision of the group was supposed to be like the 3-man band, if you remember what that was.
The three
And
man band.
Three-man band was Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and Drew McIntyre.
Yes, 3MB. Like that like when I thought about them, I just think of 3MB. That's
Yeah,
why I didn't get it. But yes, I remember them.
and they pitched the name. They pitched the name Usual Suspects and all types of shit. And then eventually David Cody pitched the name Three Brothers, and I said, I dig it. I like that name. If we're gonna do this, but it's got to be kind of our vision, which ended up really being more of mine because I'm the one that puts together all of the promos and editing. If you watch some of the promos, they're some of the most hilarious pieces of entertainment you'll ever see, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I saw a lot of them, especially that workout one, friendship.
Oh yeah, which that's not even that's just a straight up Cameron Jackson promo, but yeah, I'll get to that one later. But we debuted as a group in January of 2019 at CPW and have been kind of just pushing it through ever since. And that like I said, it came from just a bunch of spewing of ideas, and then eventually we put it together, went out there and had the first 6-man tag match against Jamal Hewins, PJ Ellis, and I believe Devin Cruz. And once we got there and started doing it, the crowd really instantly took to us as bad guys, and we've been just pushing it in ever since. Now they love us because we are us, and we just do what we do. But at the inception of the group, the conception of the group, whatever you want to call it, we kind of just really stuck to what we wanted to do, and we kept it within the right politically correct guidelines, but we took it and ran with it. So the Three Brothers is really a project that ended up becoming a little bit more of a success than I think any of us expected.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like for instance, like it's things like 3MB, and like then you hear something like that, but then you make it like a different vision of yours. Like you say, you made a vision of yours,
Of
and
course.
you guys just like went from being the heel to like being a fan favorite, even either it's heel or face. And that's actually that's a major step up. Like whether you're bad or good, people still like you, especially in the wrestling career.
Yeah, that definitely shows that you have a tool that makes people want to see you no matter what. Um, People always say these phrases like, I'll see a lot of people say, "Oh, that man's a good heel," or "That man's a good baby face," and I'm like, I don't like those. I don't like somebody calling me a good heel because then you're not believing what I'm working. So if you're gonna like me, then like me. If you're gonna hate me, then hate me. As long as you're reacting to me, because that's where the money comes in. It's reaction. I can go out there and tell everybody they suck, and they start, cheering on. If they do that, then hey, I'm still doing my job. It doesn't matter if that phrase necessarily worked or not. It just shows that we have made an impact and people want to see us. It brings people out of their seats, and their undivided attention is on us, and that's really all that matters. That's all I care about. If I come to a show and I'm supposed to be acting like a heel and you want to cheer, hey, go ahead and cheer. Like, I'm never gonna be mad about that. And if I'm acting like a good guy and you want to boo, then go ahead and boo, because then I'll just switch the act up. I'll do more of it to get everybody booing.
Great, man. That's great. It's like that's like literally when I hear number one, when I hear you wrestle, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, yo, that's my guy from high school. Like, and then I see you doing things like going over the top rope. I'm seeing you doing things like a frog splash, and then you have like this persona that's capturing everybody. I'm like, yes, this is something that is needed. This is something that he brought to the like literally the ring, and it's one of the greatest things I've seen, honestly.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Look, for me, it's like I don't know. For me, it's like therapy, the chance to escape normal life and be number one for however many minutes is awesome. And I absolutely love the fan interaction, and to be able to start. Let me explain it this way. So when I go to the curtain, I immediately want it hot. I want them riled up. And when the match starts, I want them to try to start simmering down until I build them back up. And then once I get them built back up, man, it's the coolest feeling in the world. It's like you have them in the palm of your hand. Crowd control is, it's literally, crowd control is 90% of what I do. And then all the extra stuff like diving over the top rope and doing the frog splashes and taking somebody's head off with a left arm clothesline and stuff like that. With the crowd interaction, it makes it all worth it. And I mean, of course, the money too, but that's a whole different conversation.
And damn, man, I always like when it comes to like the match, I'm like, yo, support my guy, number one here. I'm planning on possibly like because I know that you have like these shades, right? That says number one on it, and
Oh yes.
I'm like, where can I get my own? Like, I want
Uh,
those shades.
well, I am working on something to where I can get my own brand of them. That's obviously with the whole COVID situation that knocked everything farther back. Um, but once that goes through, if it's still on the table, I'll definitely push through on it, and then I'll be able to sell them myself from my own website or what have you.
Oh, nice, nice. And then when they come up, I'll definitely go ahead and purchase myself a nice little pair of number one glasses.
Oh,
I'm
those
excited
are
at that.
those things are so dope, man. I love those glasses. Um, those glasses have definitely gotten me welcome to a lot of places where I typically wouldn't have been welcomed.
Nice, nice, man. It's like you had Bret Hart with the signature glasses, the pink shades. You had you had HBK with like those round red glasses, the one that look like the heart.
Yeah,
And then you got number one with like the black shades with literally number one on it. That's like one of the greatest things I could see. That's like one of the things that will capture like especially not like in the entrance, you know?
of course.
That's dope as hell, man. I can't wait. But with doing the wrestler life, like having a career as a professional wrestler,
Uh-huh.
there are major difficulties that some people have to deal with. Like
Oh yes.
yeah, there are some people like Keith Lee had to deal with things like being broke, living in a car. So why I'm bringing this up is because I want to know if you would like to say what type of difficulties did or type of barriers did you have to break through during having the life of a professional wrestler.
Well, I definitely can't let it go without saying. At first, it was the color barrier for me because I'm I'm the first and a lot of times the only black guy at some of the shows that I'm on. So like I have to connect with the fans in a way that doesn't make black people look bad either. I have to make myself stand out, and I can't do that by selling out my race, my ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to find ways because I can go out there and and act like the biggest stereotype on the planet, and it'd be easy laughs for them. And don't get me wrong, although that's money, that's not my style. Like I want to connect with them in a way to where I look like a professional wrestler that earned the chance to be here, that studied his craft to be there. Uh, just because I'm black doesn't make me the best. Just because I'm black doesn't make me stand out. But I do know that just because I am black, people are gonna either pay more attention to the little things I do because they're waiting to pick it apart, or they're gonna bat an eye away because they haven't seen anybody like me in this area or in that area. And I'm now I think I've accomplished that without having to act like a thug. Uh, and I'm not saying that about black people. I just hate this word that's going around in the media nowadays, thug. So I've accomplished that without having to act like a thug and get wild up and riled up every time I cut a promo or step in the ring. Like that was the first barrier. The second barrier is always going to be money. I think anybody breaking into the wrestling business needs to be prepared to understand that there's going to be a lot of nights where you put on the show of a lifetime, walk out of there with like $20. Like $20 isn't right now. It's enough to put gas back in the tank, but trust me, $20 don't don't take the soreness or the pain away, and it damn sure doesn't make you smile. um, but there's other things like that. Also, nagging injuries that will happen, that piles up. Right now, I'm dealing with a shoulder thing, and a lot of times you just got to wrestle through it. So like there's a lot of barriers, a lot of hardships, a lot of things that are coming and probably still will come my way. I can't sit here and say I'm excluded from any of
Okay, so when it came to like especially things like with like those hardships, because I see like sometimes with like an injury or something going on, there's like they put on like a type of tape. Is that a thing with the injuries, or is that like with a like something specifically of the outfit? Because I seen you wear the tape on your shoulder a couple of times. And I also seen people like Cesaro and like Finn Balor wear that tape. Is that where like their injuries set in?
Yeah, you're talking about the KT tape. The
Yes.
KT tape is for most people, they actually use it because they need to help circulation and loosen up that joint. um and yes, I've worn it on my shoulder a couple times. It's just uncomfortable. Which is why I take it off, because I'll look down at my shoulder and I'll be like, man, I can't, I can't be me, because I'm now, since the tape is there, I act like I can't move my right arm. It's weird, one of those mental things. Um, but yeah, it's usually supposed to help in a sense. It's really just an athletic deal. Try to keep things in place and the circulation the right way, and enough pressure on and off the joint. Um, but there are people that wear it just for style, and more power to them.
Okay, that's yeah, like because I've seen it like on like certain things like shoulders. I'm like, oh, maybe that's like an injury. I'm like, maybe that's something that they have to take real careful on. Like it's like there's major things like especially like anything specific, especially like in WWE, can cause like career ending issues. Like for instance,
Oh yeah.
like sometimes the shoulder, the neck, probably the knee. It's just major things that happen.
Yeah, see, like well, that's another big thing. Like, anytime you step in the ring, you are risking your life, because one wrong bump can be the end of it. So you keep that in the back of your head, but you try not to worry too much. You try to definitely get your message across, and that's why people don't understand why no random Joe or no random anybody can just get in the wrestling ring and do this. That's why, because you fall the wrong way one time, you take something the wrong way one time. That's about it. Like, it could very well be the end of physicality as you know it. Like, you can be confined to a wheelchair, and there have been many people that have sadly had to go that route, and then the neurological damage that can happen. um it is insane. Me, I try to do things, even the exciting things, I take caution with. When I do my dead man dive over the top rope from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring, I only do it when I feel the person can catch me.
Hmm.
Like, I will not just do it and land on the ground. That's not going to do anything to help my case.
Hmm. Eh,
But yeah, injuries are they're gonna happen. You know, all you can hope is that all you can hope for is that you don't have any major injuries. Like, you're gonna get small injuries. Bumps and bruises on your shoulders. People might even get bone chips. But as long as you can stray away from major injuries, then you've done something all right.
Okay, that's good, but and that also comes to my next question, because like you seem to be very prepared every time when you step into that ring. So how do you prepare before you even hit like the NAWA ring or the ACCW ring? Like how do you prepare? Like do you do like some type of fitness? Do you do like some type of like like you look in the mirror, speak to yourself? Like what is like like your idea of getting ready for the match? What does number one do to get ready?
Well, I stretch, definitely keep myself limber. Um, then I hype myself up. kind of, I get a peek at the crowd first. I see what's out there. Get a peek at the crowd, and I try to make sure my opponent's good before I start working on myself. Once my opponent is good, and I know that we're going to be on the same page, then I start getting in my zone. Whatever song of the day will play in my head, and then I'll start bouncing up and down, wiggling the arms out, loosening the shoulder up. Then I'll hit the curtain, and then there it is.
Great. Like even with your theme song now, because I actually heard it. You said that your actual cousin did it. It was by New Jersey
Yes.
James, and that song actually can get someone dumb hype. Like that's a hype song, honestly.
Oh yeah, man. And my cousin, shout out to him. He's been rapping since even since before I was born. Um, and he never really got his big break, but there's songs of his that I really, really like. I might not agree with the message of every song, but I support every song. And I will say that the one that I have, which is called Stupid, Dope, Dumb, Fly, Fresh, I think is a very good explanation of me as a character. And just me, sometimes me as a person, depending on, what day is it, what day it is. But like that song will definitely hype me up, and everybody's got their little head bop and arm raise to it. It just gets you in the zone. It lets you feel like, it makes you feel like number one's coming to the ring, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And then like when the music hits, boom, it's like number one with that energy. I'm like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to see a match of his. That's what's cool. But especially when the music hits, you know.
Oh yeah, and the music is a lot of it. I mean, you gotta look at it this way. If you're hell, people not even from this generation, they already know what it is. When you hear that, if you smell, or you hear the glass shatter, or one of my favorites, if you hear the "oh, you didn't know," like it just everybody gets ready. And for me, it's the everybody gets ready when they hear the scheduled programming has been temporarily suspended. Welcome to Cameron Jackson Entertainment, and they start getting ready for that. So like it definitely is a help. It's a big help.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man. I'm glad that like when especially because I heard the actual part of it where it says "Welcome to Cameron Jackson Entertainment" at the beginning of the song. I'm like, that would get a major crowd hype.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that would just like boom. It's like right on the spot. It's like watching an amazing movie, and then like you got the star just walking down the ramp. That,
Word, and that in many ways is how a lot of people see it. I mean, the fans who don't actually know me, they know number one, and that's how they see it. And I'm glad they do see it that way, because it definitely um it definitely is a big confidence booster, and it helps me kind of feel like I can do this, even if I was worried or nervous, or if I wasn't all the way ready. Hearing something like that would definitely put me all the way in gear.
that's cool, man. That's cool. But let me ask a question. Like you wanted to be a wrestler, of course, definitely, and you are a wrestler.
Yes, sir.
You had that goal in your head, and you now have achieved becoming a wrestler in the indie scene.
Hmm.
What is the goal? What is your goal right now? Like, are we trying to see like, because I'm thinking of many different ideas. Like, are we trying to see number one at NXT? Or we're trying to see number one at AEW? Or are we try to like go for that goal? Like, what are we trying to do, man?
There's tons of goals. I'm gonna say this. In lieu of a good friend of mine, very very good friend of mine, named Fuego del Sol. Um, he finally is starting to get the break he deserves. He's been on AEW a couple times now. I was just on AEW Dark the other night, and my goal. I don't know if there's a long term goal. I don't know if there's just one goal, because I'm the type of person that will set another goal the second I achieve one. Um, but right now it's just to make it to a TV show, make it to a AEW, an NXT, a Monday Night Raw. You know, make it to a TV show, and then become a major fixture of that TV show. And then once I become a major fixture of that TV show, then start to become the major fixture of that company.
That's great. Like I also like have you ever heard of like trying to possibly doing like things of Ring of Honor or New Japan? Is that like a possible thing for number one also?
I definitely would not be against it. Everybody, I look at it this way: the modern younger wrestler, their goals are to travel the world and have the indie scene, which is, you don't get me wrong, those are my goals too. But to me, those are things that happen on the way to your goals. Like Ring of Honor has always been a pretty respectable place. Um, but do I want to be signed to Ring of Honor? I can't say no, but I can't say that if I was and I got an offer to go somewhere else that I wouldn't take that offer. Like I would, if I'm in Ring of Honor and I get an offer from the WWE, I'm going to WWE. If I'm in Ring of Honor, I get an offer from AEW, I'm going to AEW. Um, a big goal of mine is to perform at a WrestleMania with actual fans there, of course, not like this year. Um, I want to definitely do that before I die. I don't care if I'm 60, 70 years old doing it. I want to do it.
That's cool. I could just imagine number one winner of the Money in the Bank. Come on, man. Think of that. Think of that.
That would be
Like number.
awesome.
Yeah, and then you just like going either winning the WWE Championship or Universal. I'm like, yes. Like this would be like the greatest thing. I'll be like, are you gonna cash it in tonight? Are you gonna cash it in tonight? Cash it in tonight. Cash it in tonight. Win that championship. That would be the greatest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I can see it now because like I like when I think of your character, I also think about like things that could happen like in the future. So like I'm thinking like, you know what, you becoming either WWE Universal and then you get your custom belt and it has the number one in the front.
Yeah, that would be. Listen, if that ever happened, man, I would. I don't know. I mean, that gets me excited just thinking about it.
It's actually pretty cool. I'm like I can't wait to see this happen. It's like because I do see you going into a big place. Like I do see you going into like the big stage. Because like as I say, you have that energy, you have the athleticism. I really would love to see that. You know.
Oh yeah, man, and I would more than love to do it. Like that's just something that I I've always wanted to do, and a lot of it's for many different reasons. Like reasons because as a kid watching, you have the dream of being able to do that one day, and now that I'm in a position where I can be able to do that, I want it. I want it, man. I want it before I can even have it. But um, that, and of course, financial stability, always building something for the future and next generation. Say if I do have children, I want them to be able to live good, live better than I did growing up, and then I also want to be able to give back to my mother who worked so hard, and my father who worked so hard. So, things like that. There's many different reasons why I want to make it and make the right decisions and kind of grow up in the process.
That's great. That's great, man. I can't wait to see it happen because I believe it's gonna happen, dude. But also, you said like doing things like performing at WrestleMania, like WWE or like AEW. Now, what's your dream match? Like what would number one? Who would number one would want to face in the ring? Who would want
Oh,
to have like a rivalry, like your dream match? The if you could just have that one match right on the spot, that dream match. Who would you go against? I gotta know. I gotta know, man.
um, man, I couldn't tell you. I can tell you I would wrestle any and anybody. I mean, there's a few that I think that I would jump at the opportunity a lot quicker. Like I would love to wrestle a Daniel Bryan a lot quicker. I would love to wrestle a Miz, very very quickly. I would love to get in the ring with so many people. I would love to get in the ring with Sammy Guevara. I mean, everybody wants to get in the ring with Chris Jericho, So like, those are just some. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to cop out of that. There's just so many people. I don't necessarily have one dream match because my favorite wrestler does not wrestle anymore. So like, if Rock was still wrestling, I'm like, sure, he towers over me. He's probably twice my size, but I think we can make it entertaining.
That's great. Like I could see like your persona and the Mrs. persona clashing into a really good to a really good thing going on. You know, like literally like a whole entire like like couple of segments, like a couple of pay-per-views, like, and like it could possibly go for like things like Intercontinental, Universal, or any even WWE title, especially how the Miz was a former WWE champion. So
Oh yeah.
like I could see that happening, especially like you could hear awesome, and then in the process of that year, #1, like especially with how like the crowd like interacts with it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And that would be something very, very cool. Like the Miz is very, in my opinion, underrated. I don't know if he's underrated, but I say he's underappreciated by the fans. And give that man the chance to do some good business. I think he won't disappoint.
I think he's a great entertainer, a great wrestler. I think when it comes to the mic, he's pretty dangerous. Especially when it comes to the mic, when it comes to cutting a promo, he is very dangerous.
Oh yeah, he can put a lot of people in their seat in their place.
Yeah, especially like I've seen like the whole thing with Daniel Bryan. I've seen like the stuff that goes on Miz TV. All that is just like amazing, and he has that energy. I just like, especially like if we have your character going against him, it's like it's gonna be like a clash of the titans. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it would be awesome. Like, it would be something that I would definitely not run away from. Like it'd be something that I'd be down to do 7 days a week. The Miz is just he's up there. Like he's really 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 good, and there's a lot of people that still haven't noticed that yet, which I don't know how, I don't know why. But, I think #1 and the Miz would be a good piece of entertainment.
Yeah, like that could definitely work out. I would love to see that. There's one thing I want to ask you
Okay.
because this is a question that a lot of people ask, especially a lot of people either in indie scene in like like WWE legends. So I've also had an issue when people kind of state this.
All
What
right.
what is your response to the whole thing, especially you being a wrestler? What is your response to the whole thing about people saying that wrestling is fake? Like I see things like in return, like some wrestlers go on TV shows, so it's a real thing, especially with like the chest slap, like people like Sin Cara, like Alberto El Patron. You got especially legend in luchadores. You have La Parca. Like
Yes.
how do you feel about when people say something like that, or what is your response to that when somebody says that wrestling is?
Well, my response is everybody has an opinion. Um, but I can tell you what I do. I can show anybody what I do is not fake. Now, I'm not going to go out of my way and put somebody's life in danger. Uh, yes, the the finishes are predetermined. Yes, the some of the antics are called out beforehand. Some of the moves are pre-planned beforehand. Some of the finishes are pre-planned beforehand. Um, However, you cannot fake landing on a landing in a 16 foot by 16 foot, 18 by 18, or 20 by 20 foot box that's just canvas, a thin layer of padding, wood, and metal. Like you cannot fake that. You cannot fake getting hit in the head with a chair. You cannot fake your head landing on the mat. You can't fake getting kicked in the mouth. There's a lot of people that try to fake it. Trust me, you see it every day. But when a kick to the head is a kick to the head, a punch in the face is a punch in the face. Landing on your shoulder the wrong way, from experience, is landing on your shoulder the wrong way. Um, so I tell people that If they think it's fake, it is their opinion. But if they think it's that fake, then how come they can't do it?
So you just go ahead and just tell them, you know what? If you think it's fake, then like you want just like call them out on it. If you think it's fake, then why can't you do it? Exactly. So it's like I see things like, you know, like people like in like you see the Money in the Bank match, TLC matches, especially the match between John Moxley and Kenny Omega, especially that hardcore match.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm like that's extreme. Like who fakes that? Like it gets, and sometimes I get that message from like people who are like in the UFC area,
Yeah,
or MMA.
they come from a different standpoint. Like, you know, by no means am I okay with anybody saying it's fake, but I can understand from their standpoint because their goal is to either knock the person out, tap the person out, and or win by points. We know who's gonna win. That's the only thing they'll ever have on us. But there are people that I get into the ring with on a pretty frequent basis that can tie you in a knot legitimately and make you feel every bit of it. You know, there's people that go out there and they will literally beat the hell out of people. Um, and that is just not fake. There's no faking that. Like, I wish you could. Don't get me wrong. If there was a way to fake somebody chopping me at my chest, I would, just so I can feel better the next morning. But there is not. You know, there is no way for that, and rightfully so, there shouldn't be, because what we do is an art. What we do is more entertainment than it is sport. But at the same time, it's a show. You know what I mean? It's a show. People know what they sign up for when they come to a wrestling show. They know they see their good guys and their bad guys. They know they see the heroes and the villains. So, like, when people go out of their way to say it's fake, it's just like, what are you saying? You're not damaging it. You're just disrespecting it, you know?
It's
And
like
that's what it is. Like, I don't go out there, I don't run around saying you know, UFC is a Ponzi scheme, you know? So why in the hell do they say what I do is fake? Um, but at the same time, look at it this way: those guys in the UFC, they could not come on and put on a watchable wrestling match either.
so like because a lot of people have seen like a lot of things, so like I kind of question things like, you know, like people like because a lot of people have said like, oh, you know what, WWE should sign on people like Conor McGregor. I'm like, that wouldn't go too well, you know, and that's a
It wouldn't
gamble.
go, yeah, it wouldn't go well for a guy like Conor McGregor. Well, it would go great on TV, but it wouldn't go great behind the scenes because he's just got an ego that's way too damn big. You know, he like he'll come in and get the superstar treatment, and he'll start really rubbing it in people's faces, and he really won't make a lot of friends there. Um, he'll be a he'll definitely be a big money draw because he comes from a world that he already was a big money draw. However, I don't think that I don't think his tenure there would be really really nice. I don't think he can do it every night. I don't think go in the ring and do 20 minutes because ring shape, being in ring shape and being and having good cardio are two different things. You know,
Yeah,
like very very two ungodly different things.
that it seemed like there's a major gap in that. That's why like I was looking for that, but also I just wanted to know because like I kind of thought about this. I was like, this was something that we like this is something that we could have had an idea for. Like I was like still like in high school, like trying, at one point I wanted to be a wrestler.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I wanted to do like, you know, go into the indie scene, probably hit the WWE.
Yeah.
I even came up with it with a wrestling name and everything. It's like I'm thinking like at one point I was thinking like, because we went to Bayshore High School, I was like, what if Bayshore High School had its own wrestling foundation? I,
Yeah.
I was like, this would be cool, but like, what would you think about that? Do you think Pashkin would be okay with that?
Um. Well, here's the thing. Uh, I would love nothing more than to see something like that. I really would love to see, like Bayshore High School open up a program like that, or any high school open up a program like that. Um, because now more than ever, there are tons, and I mean tons, of pro wrestlers in the world. However, the chances of actually making it are, you know, slim, when you do it that way. Because, like, in high school, we can train each other on how to do it, or I can train people on how to do it. I would love. Don't get me wrong. If they open up a program like that, I'd love to be the trainer.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool. Like, it's like, just imagine, because we do have Long Island wrestlers. We do have like people like Mick Foley. We do have people like Zack Ryder who are actually from Long Island. And then
Yes.
like, or they can even call people like from many places. Like at one point there was like people like Carmella. There was people like also JTG and Chad who were actually from Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so like with them, they also learned to be wrestlers in certain places too. So
Yeah.
that would be cool, especially in Bayshore High School, and then things like homecoming, like how we had homecoming, and then we were just dressing up in like purple, or it was color war, and then like we had like a fatal 4-way of people in different classes.
Yeah, that would be cool. See, the only issue with that is it takes one dumbass one time. Though that would be the issue. The whole thing would get shut down. It takes one dumbass one time to hurt somebody doing something they don't know how to do. And that's the only problem with pro wrestling. Like, yes, a promoter or anybody can tell you to stick to a script. You can go over a match front to back, but if you forget something, you have to improvise. And if you improvise and you do something wrong, you put somebody's life in danger. In a school, that would completely put the whole operation in danger. The school in general too. So that, like, it's a risk. Um, it's something I'd love to see happen. It's something I'd love to get a go at. But it is a risk. I could see why it'd be a major risk.
And then, like, imagine Bayshore Wrestling or Bayshore High School Wrestling, something like that, and then we have like an amazing title, and then it's like in the shape of the Marauder.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be badass. And then I could see like if it was like during the time, it would have been like like a couple of our friends, and I would have definitely loved to have done it. It was definitely like something especially I would have wanted to do. But then like I stopped the wrestling dream when I just like I didn't have the want to do like the fitness for it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, but then I was like, okay, so you know what, I can go ahead and now, instead of doing that, I can support the people that are helping me out, hence why I'm supporting Number One. That's why I'm like, yes, I would love to see Number One in like something like WWE, AEW, New Japan, anything of that.
Oh yeah.
And you know what, like, I know you have that dream, and dude, I can't wait. I believe that dream is gonna come true. I believe that, and I would definitely support you on anything that you.
Well, man, I appreciate that. Like, it all starts with a good support system. As long as the support system keeps growing, this thing takes off more and more. Opportunities are definitely there. I have to expand myself to capitalize on them. And once I really get in the notion of that, especially after this whole COVID thing is over, and now our country's in a very, very rocky time with uh, public opinions of things. I'm not going to go into that because that's not the point.
Hmm.
But, like, once everything starts to look towards a better tomorrow, um, I definitely want to turn it up a lot higher than I ever have.
I can't wait for that to happen, man. Can't wait. So, lastly, before we finish up this little thing that we got here, do you have any advice? Any advice to people that want to be, that want to become like the professional wrestler that want to go into the indie scene to the bigger stage? Do you have any advice for people that want to start that lifestyle?
Uh, yes. The advice would be make sure you really, really want to do it. Take the time to learn. Be steady. Be cautious. Be smart, and get the proper training. Because without the proper training, this does not happen. You can hurt yourself or you can hurt somebody else. And furthermore, a big thing that I'll always say, it can apply in every aspect of life, realistically, if you just apply it to your situation. But a big phrase that I like to use, it's been going around for a long time. And the phrase is, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So like, people can interpret that however you want. But if you want to be a pro wrestler, you know, my information's out there. I'm pretty sure you're putting it in the link to this. So they can definitely hit me up. We can talk about it. And, you know, I can definitely help putting somebody into a training school near them, or if they're near me, you know, a training school near me, or maybe even be able to come train with me. You never know. So, like, you know, just little things like that. And that's another big thing. Little things are much more important than you'll ever notice. In any type of performing art, the little things stand out. Like, what do you remember about your movie? Sometimes you remember the look in somebody's eyes. You remember the line they said, or how they were holding their body when they said something, rather than the big explosion that happened, you know. So remember the little things. Take the time to get the proper training. Be smart. Be steady. Pay your dues. Be respectful. You don't have to kiss anybody's ass though, but pay your dues and be respectful. And lastly, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah, those are words to actually live by, man. I actually gotta remember those. Well,
Oh yeah.
yeah, those are something, especially for any type of aspect of life. Yeah, those are definitely words that, you know, people could definitely go behind and definitely live by. And wow, man, that, like, as I said, dude, I appreciate you for coming up on here and like literally having this interview with me. I appreciate you very much. You know, like,
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
man. And I completely thank you and appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you. As you said, if there's, like, you know, you have people you can want to help, like people want to become wrestlers, or like, you know, like if they want to train with you or you want to point them into a direction, there are ways to get in contact with Number One. You could definitely go ahead and follow him on his Instagram, which is shown right there on the actual bottom left of the actual video. Also you can make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, and I will also put a link to his Facebook page, which has also, you know, a way to contact him through email. And by all means, as I said, make sure to put a hashtag for CJE exclusives and the Three Brothers, and make sure to show your support to Number One and the Three Brothers. And as I said, make sure to support Number One in his career of being a professional wrestler. But
Right on.
yeah, but once again, Number One, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview with me.
Man, most definitely. Thank you for having me. This has been a fun time. We'll definitely maybe catch up and do another one when something big happens.
Yeah, I do a lot of podcasts. Maybe you want to be like part of a podcast when it comes to like a wrestling topic, man.
Yeah, man, I'm with it. You let me know when, and I'll make the time.
Okay, and then there you go. So by all means, guys, go ahead, subscribe to the EHG community. Definitely turn on your notifications where we get new streams and new videos set out. Definitely join us on our Facebook group, our Discord channel. Make sure to subscribe to our moderators, support our sponsors, and check out our merchandise. As I said, all information about Number One, Cameron Jackson, will be in the description, so you can be able to follow him on any types of social media that he has. But
Right on.
here you go. But
And
mhm.
Twitter's the same deal as Instagram. It's the same handle.
All right, definitely. I will definitely put the Twitter link in there as well. Thank you for letting me know that, so I can put that in there. but
It's all right.
this is your boy CrazeMaze98, aka Nicholas Morales, founder of the AHG community, here with Number One, Cameron Jackson. Is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Be smart. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Everybody enjoy times. Oh, another thing, a small little personal before we go.
Okay.
Everything going on in the world today. Don't be afraid to have your opinion and understand the other side. You can disagree with something. You can not like something, but you can still understand the other side. You can take the time to understand it. That way you can show the respect for your fellow American in this country, fellow black man, fellow white man, fellow whatever. We don't need any more hate going around this world. There's enough of it going around like hell. The fact that everybody's starting to hate each other nowadays is taking money out of my pocket. I make a business off of hating my opponent. So please learn to respect one another. You don't gotta love everybody. You don't gotta agree with everything. You can disagree, but you can still understand. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that is very important, especially for nowadays. And as I said, guys, thank you for watching this interview, and stay tuned for another video coming out soon.